Why you should be benchmarking and how to do it. Hi, this is Josh Horn of Horn Valuation. I help owners build, value, and sell their business. What's benchmarking? Benchmarking is simply taking some financial metrics from your business and measuring those against others in your industry for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities. Why should you care? Well, first off, it's very cheap to do this, and probably 90% of your competitors don't do it. So it's going to put you ahead of them, and it's not that difficult. I'm going to show you the basics of how I do this, and not going to spend too much time on it. Just show you the framework that I use and why I use it, why it matters. Let's take a look, and then we'll end with 3 bullet points. Before we get started, I want to set the stage and remind you what I talk about all the time. To increase value, business value, what are we going to do? We're increasing cash flows, reducing risk, and increasing growth. That's what we're doing here. So anytime you're doing any part of the value driving process, the value creation process, that's what we're working towards. Same thing with benchmarking here. What I'm going to show you are a balance sheet, income statement, and a financial ratio schedule. These are what we call common sized balance sheets and income statements, where we're going to take percentages of total assets on the balance sheet and percentages of total sales on the income statement and drop those into a schedule and compare those to percentages in the industry. So similar companies, and we could do this for you. So some businesses will have gross profit margins of, say, 35%, others they may be 20%. So we would compare those. Same thing on the balance sheet. Some businesses collect accounts receivable within 10 days. Some don't have any accounts receivable. So we'll measure those and see how you're doing against those ratios. So let's take a look at this particular business. And we can note a couple of things on the common size balance sheet. First off, note that they have a good portion of current assets. That is, they've got assets they can turn into cash relatively quickly compared to the industry. As we scroll on down, we'll notice a couple of other things that maybe aren't so positive. First off, notice that they don't have as much fixed assets as the industry. That is, they're not investing as much in machinery, vehicles, equipment, and things like that. If we move on over to the income statement, the common size income statement, we'll see that they are outperforming the industry in terms of profit margin. So this is going to improve cash flows, obviously. Now, what if you were in the opposite boat? What if you were underperforming? Then you might take a look at some of these areas on the income statement and say, okay, well, am I charging enough for my goods and services? Are my overhead expenses too high? What are the causes? And you can drill down into those. Now let's scroll on over to the financial ratio schedule, and we can see that we get some confirmation of a couple of things that we saw in the prior schedules. First of all, notice the days of inventory compared to the industry. It's roughly 4 times what the industry is. That's going to tie up a lot of working capital. It's going to drive up your current ratio. That is, you've got assets that theoretically you should be able to turn into cash, but it's also a huge amount of money, cash certainly, tied up in inventory. We see some similar comparisons to what I mentioned earlier on the fixed assets, where we just don't see really any fixed assets. There's no fixed asset turnover, whereas most of the businesses in this industry will have more investments made in fixed assets. Why does that matter? Well, if you're looking to grow and keep up with changes in your industry, technology, productivity, you have to invest in fixed assets. So let's summarize some of the things I talked about here, and I'll give you some things to think about. What are the takeaways for financial benchmarking? First off, ignorance is not bliss. Unfortunately, many clients that I've valued their business, this is the first time they've seen this done. They're not doing it. It's putting them behind their competitors, and it is so simple. It's very simple and it's not expensive. And if you don't know how to do it, get in touch with me. I can do it for you. We can work together to do this. The data sources are not overly expensive. Actually, most of these you can get a la carte for $100, $150, $200. Not bad at all. So get in touch with me if you want to do this, because you don't want to wait until you're ready to sell when you could be improving your business all along the way and it just be too late. And when I'm sitting down with some of these clients, they're surprised sometimes by, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't doing that very well. Oh, I didn't realize we were doing that great. Keep that in mind. Don't wait, because this is so simple. But it's simple, not easy to implement. What do I mean by that? Well, like a lot of things in life, when I tell you that you're doing, say, a poor job collecting accounts receivable from customers, it's one thing to talk about it, quite another to fix it. Don't put it on the back burner. Develop a process to fix it. And that's where the more challenging part comes into play, because you actually have to sit down with staff, develop a process, and improve that particular area. Same thing with a lot of areas in your business. I'll give you another one I see a lot, way too often. Gross profit margin, too low. Why? You're pricing too low. You're not selling at a high enough price. Your ticketing process, your gross margin management is not good. You're not measuring that daily, weekly, monthly, and making sure you are charging an appropriate price for your product and or service. Easy to get that too low, reducing your cash flow, reducing the value of your business. Finally, make the commitment to excel in your industry. Outperform by a mile. You can do this. Many of your competitors are not doing benchmarking. It's easy, it's cheap, and the tools are readily available with spreadsheets. And like I said, if you don't know how to do this, get in touch with me and I can help you do it. These are some of the reasons why you need to be benchmarking and how to do it. This is Josh Horn of Horn Valuation. Have a great day. Bye.